Dear friends, my students and colleagues, today my topic is the protein requirement of cultivable fin and shell fishes. Here, as a part 1 of this topic, I will discuss regarding the basics of the protein and its requirement in the body. Dear students and my colleagues, today my topic is protein requirement of cultivable fin and shell fishes. This is the part 1 part. The protein is very important for the growth of the fishes. We can realize for excellent growth, we need good quality feed with adequate quantity of protein as per the need of the fish body. If we see the composition of fishes, the body contains around 75% water, 16% protein, 6% fat and 3% ash, and it gives around 5.6 kilocalories of energy per gram of fish meat. Thus, the body contains around 16% protein. So protein is the most important component for the fishes, and in the diet, it is also the most expensive component. If we see the composition of proteins, it is around 50% carbon, 16% nitrogen, 21.5% oxygen, 6.5% hydrogen, and some of the proteins they contain traces of phosphorus as well as sulfur. Now these proteins, actually what are they? These proteins, they are actually composed of different amino acids. So different amino acids, they are linked with the peptide bonds and finally gives protein as a molecule. So amino acids are very, very important, and they must be in proper balance in the diet. If we see the empirical formula of amino acids, this is R, that is a chain, CH, NH2CHH. So amino acids, they contain one amino group, other carboxylic group, and then there is a chain with the carbon. So different amino acids, they have similar type of chain. Now this protein gives around 5.6 kilocalories of energy per gram. If we see the functions of protein, for what proteins are important for the body, so the most important function is in the body, these proteins, they are required for the synthesis of body proteins, and in the fish body it is mostly the protein. Secondly, these proteins, they are important for the body enzymes and hormone synthesis. The enzymes and the hormones, they play very important role in the various biological activities. Hence, if they are not synthesized properly, the biological function will be adversely affected. So proteins are very important. Next is these proteins, they are required for the maintenance of the body tissues, for the repair of the body tissues. Hence, there is regular need. And these proteins, or we can see the amino acids, they act as a substrate for the synthesis of carbohydrate and for the synthesis of fatty acids. So proteins, they play very important role in the body. Now, as I have told, dear students, these proteins, they are made up of different amino acids. So what is the classification of different amino acids? These amino acids required in the body, they are basically classified in 5 different groups. One is monoamino monocarboxylic, means they have only one amino group and one carboxylic group, and they are glycine, valine, threonine, leucine and isoleucine. Second group is monoamino dicarboxylic, means they have one amino group and 2 carboxylic group, they are basically aspartic acid and glutamic acid. Next one is diamino dicarboxylic. That is, they have two amino group and one carboxylic group. They are also called as basic amino acids, and example is arginine and lysine. Then next one is sulfur containing amino acids. Amino acids, those who contain sulfur, they are mainly three, that is cysteine, cysteine and methionine. And next one is aromatic and heterocyclic amino acids, and they are basically phenylalanine, tyrosine, tryptophan, histidine, proline and hydroxyproline. Thus these amino acids, they have been classified in different groups. Out of amino acids available in nature, more than 200 amino acids are available in the nature, but mainly 20 amino acids are playing important role for the body protein synthesis. And out of these 20 amino acids, 6 amino acids are clear-cut non-essential. Means they are not essential through the diet. They are not dietary essential because they can be synthesized in the body itself. And they are proline, hydroxyproline, glutamic acid, aspartic acid, alanine and ornithine. 4 amino acids, they are semi-essential amino acids. Why they are called semi-essential? Because they spare essential amino acids. They are not catabolized when they are present. And example is tyrosine, glycine, cysteine and serine. Here you can say the cysteine, when it is available, it spares methionine. When tyrosine is available, it spares phenylalanine. So, as these amino acids can spare the essential amino acids, they are called as semi-essential. And 10 are the essential amino acids. Basically, they are dietary essential. They must be available in the diet because their carbon skeleton chain cannot be synthesized in the body. And that's why they are dietary essential. They are also called as indispensable. Means no amino acids can replace these amino acids, so they are indispensable. And these are 10 in number. They are PBT, Tim Hall, as I abbreviate. Kindly remember phenylalanine, valine, threonine, tryptophan, isoleucine, methionine, histidine, arginine, leucine and lysine. Among these amino acids, the most important are lysine and methionine. Often they are first limiting in the diet. So, you realize what are limiting amino acids. The limiting amino acids are those amino acids which are available in the least quantity in the diet as compared to the demand by the body. And that's why lysine is most limiting in many of the dietary protein. For example, most of the vegetable proteins, they are deficient in lysine, and that's why most deficient amino acid is always called as first limiting amino acid. And lysine is first one, it is deficient in most of the proteins. And second one is methionine. For example, mostly soybean meal, that is deficient in the methionine, and that's why in soybean protein, methionine is first limiting amino acid. Neither methionine is mostly second limiting. The methionine and phenylalanine amino acids, as I have told, they can be spared by the other amino acids. For example, cysteine. If cysteine is available in large quantity, methionine cannot be utilized for the synthesis of cysteine, hence spared. Similarly, if tyrosine is available in sufficient quantity, phenylalanine cannot be utilized for synthesis of tyrosine, hence it can be spared. Dear friends, thus these amino acids are very, very important. Usually when the diets are deficient in the amino acids, So many times we try to balance the amino acids by using synthetic amino acids. Mostly synthetic amino acids, that is synthetic lysine, synthetic methionine, and many amino acids are available in the synthetic form. But in many of the fishes, it has beneficial effect, but in some of the fishes, it has no beneficial effect. For example, in case of shrimps, that supplementation of synthetic amino acid is not beneficial. Now regarding the protein synthesis in the body of the fishes, you please realize the requirement of protein is very high in fishes. Fish can handle very large quantity of protein diet, but most of the protein, about 65% of the protein of the diet of the fishes is lost as ammonia through the gills. And that's why if the fishes, they are conserved in a closed environment where the water circulation is not less, then there is more amount of ammonia accumulation. And about 10% of the nitrogen is only lost as solid waste. So most of the protein of the diet in the fishes is lost as ammonia. The body protein synthesis, please realize, it depends on the availability of different amino acids. If the amino acids required by the body, especially the essential amino acids, if they are available as per the requirement of the fishes, then only protein synthesis can be very good. So amino acids, they must be available as per the requirement. And the diet should have well balance of all the amino acids, either it is essential amino acids or non-essential amino acids. But as the non-essential amino acids can be synthesized, hence we have to take care of essential amino acids. If amino acids are excess in the diet, these amino acids will be catabolized and they will be utilized for energy production. So that will be a very costly affair. Hence, kindly note that the dietary protein should be well balanced and it must be as per the requirement of the fishes. Now, regarding different sources of protein for the fishes, the animal proteins are more important in case of fishes because their requirement of essential amino acids is very high. And dear friends, among the animal proteins, the best example is fish meal, the meat meal, the crab head meal, the prawn head meal, silkworm pupa meal, poultry waste meal, blood meal, slaughterhouse waste. So they can give good quality of amino acids as per the need of the fishes. Among these proteins, the fish meal is the best for the fishes, even for the fish seed cultivation. Meat meal is also animal protein, but the meat meal is comparatively much poorer than the fish meal. The reason is that the meat meal is deficient in the amino acids like isoleucine, methionine, and cysteine. Among the plant proteins, the best examples are corn gluten meal, the soybean meal, various types of oilseed meals they can be used, like peanut seed meal, also called as groundnut seed meal, groundnut cake, then cotton seed meal, mustard seed meal. So whatever the vegetable proteins are available, oilseed meals are available, they can be used for the fish diet. But these proteins, plant proteins especially, what we have found that most of these are deficient in sulfur containing amino acids. So we have to have the combination of different feed ingredients by which sulfur containing amino acids can be compensated in the diet. So dear friends, this is all regarding amino acids. So friends, now I can conclude that the different amino acids, they play a very important role for the body protein synthesis in fishes. And essential amino acids, they are very important. So the diet should contain all the amino acids in well-balanced proportion as per the requirement. Accordingly, you have to mix the different feed ingredients. Thank you very much. In the second part of it, I will discuss in detail regarding the protein requirement of different fishes. Thank you very much.